What's up, everyone? Today I want to share something a bit different. A story about how sports have a funny way of bringing people together, shaping friendships, and something that can really change the direction of your life without noticing it in the moment. However, I know my channel talks a lot about business and kind of career and personal development. This really relates to that. We usually talk about networking as coffee chats, conferences, or email intros, or carefully planned events or LinkedIn messages. But really, some of the strongest relationships that people build don't happen in boardrooms. They happen on tennis courts, ski lifts, golf greens, boxing gyms, in locker rooms, at nice facilities where people are just people. There are certain sports where conversations flow easily. Right now, we're really zooming into the sports that attract catered audience. If you think of investors and entrepreneurs and, let's say, families that send their kids to boarding school, there are certain sports that don't attract an average crowd. Golf, tennis, skiing, lacrosse, sailing, equestrian, even endurance training like hydrox and boxing. In these sports, you're focused, but still relaxed. You're not pitching yourself, you're not performing, you're just sharing time, competing a little, laughing. And suddenly you realize you've actually gotten to know someone. You really get to see who people are behind the curtain. Why are these sports different? Some sports naturally attract people who are ambitious, entrepreneurial, or already successful. One of the reasons is, golf memberships, ski trips, regattas, private tennis clubs, and boxing club coaches. They're not cheap. That alone changes the room. But the point is that money isn't everything. The point is proximity. When you step into environments where driven people already are, you don't need to network harder. You simply exist around momentum, and it pulls you closer. That's one of the big reasons so many deals, partnerships, and friendships are born around sports instead of offices. There's no suit of armor on. People aren't guarded. You see how someone handles loss, pressure, fatigue, and frustration. I'm actually a member of a private club where we do a lot of trips. A lot of the entrepreneurs in that circle are 8-figure entrepreneurs, 9-figure entrepreneurs, and relatively young. And they do a lot of ski trips and tennis, events and stuff like that. Speaking of sports and training, there are a few entrepreneurs, when you think of media moguls like Jake Paul and Eamon Gadzhi, that have taken up boxing. Jake Paul started his career on YouTube, and he really built a name for himself. Him and his brother have made vlogs about their life growing up in Ohio and doing vlogging and building. Eventually, they built content houses and brand. And now really they're entrepreneurs building businesses. One of my favorite businesses of Jake Paul's is actually the Antifund finance company. But the point is they take health and nutrition very seriously. From red light therapy to taking up boxing. When you think of boxing, there's a lot that goes into it. Training camps, sparring sessions. It's a sport that you really can take seriously. And it attracts a certain crowd. If you look at Eamon Gadzhi, he takes his health just as seriously as he takes his career. He goes to Equinox's gym, he works out religiously, does Hydrox team events so that his team can compete together and move forward and advance not just their career but their physique. Why do I like boxing? I like boxing because you can't fake endurance. You can't talk your way out through a heavy round. When people see each other tired, sweating, and focused, it builds immediate trust. The same people who touch gloves end up raising capital together, building brands, or partnering on deals. And the theme repeats itself. Shared suffering builds bonds faster than small talk. My own experience realizing the world is small. Growing up, sports were one of the biggest ways I learned that the world is small. I spent time in New England, cold winters, warm summers, and those seasons created their own rhythm of my life. Summers meant golf, sailing, and tennis. I learned to sail from my uncle, who spent most of his life as an artist in Cape Cod. It wasn't about money or image, it was quiet mornings, wind, coffee, and conversations that drifted as slowly as the boat. No phones, no timelines, just time. I'd play tennis and golf with my friend Brett. We didn't call it networking. We were just kids talking about life, goals, and what we wanted to build one day. Looking back, those were my first real career conversations. Another friend, Evan, used to bring me to his parents' country club. To us, it was just cold drinks, long days, and endless summer afternoons. You'd play around, sit down after, and before you realize it, you had 2 hours of honest conversations about ambition, mistakes, fun times, and ideas. At boarding school, I would play lacrosse, where I met classmates who came from backgrounds in real estate, tech, software, cybersecurity. I went to the same boarding school where the Kennedy family sent their kids. Winters were a different world entirely. Life shifted to the mountains in Colorado. On ski lifts, you're literally sitting next to someone with nothing to do but talk. That's where I became close friends with my now business partner, Alec. No pitch decks, but just chairlifts, dumb jokes, and long days. Those moments, eventually turned into talks to start our first company. Alec Velo comes from a business family like my own, and his family runs one of the largest jet insurance brokerages. But how did we meet? Initially, we bonded over football and skiing. A little bit later on, I mentioned boxing a little bit earlier, but I found boxing and endurance training later on. And after my first couple of sessions with friends, I hired a boxing coach. And those environments forge a special kind of respect. When you push yourself, really push, you quickly learn who quits, who encourages you, and who keeps showing up. Some of the deepest conversations I've had were after workouts, working out at different clubs like Lifetime or Waverly Oaks, when everyone is exhausted and people are just honest. And then there are entire worlds like equestrian sports. Equestrian was something I got into through a girl I dated. We met on Hinge, or maybe Raya, and it opened up an entirely different culture. It was slower, elegant, very community oriented. Everyone knows everyone. It's multi-generational. Conversations after shows or training sessions drift towards business, travel, family, and goals. It's another tight, influential network built around shared passion. Again, similar lesson. Sports, community, opportunity. Not because you worked the room, but because you belonged there. Here's what I've learned. Not as advice, but just from experience. Sports gives you something natural to talk about. A reason to spend time together. Friendly competition that builds respect. Memories that aren't forced. Proof of your character without saying a word. If you want to network better, here are a few subtle truths. Don't treat it like networking. Be curious. Ask people about experiences. Show up consistently. Relationships form on the 10th time, not the first. Play to enjoy, not to impress. Ego is loud. Authenticity travels farther. The real point, your life isn't built only in offices, classrooms, gyms, or Zoom calls. A lot of it is built in the in-between. Car rides to the mountain, long rallies on the tennis court, walking fairways between golf shots, sitting on a boxing ring after sparring. That's where stories are told. That's where trust forms. That's where people become more than business cards. So try something. Join a boxing gym. Pick up tennis. Take a golf lesson. Say yes to skiing, even if you fall all day long. Nobody remembers your score. They remember your energy, your attitude, and how you made them feel. Success matters. Careers matter. But the best part is building a life along the way with people you genuinely like. And sports just happen to be one of the most powerful, underrated ways to do it. If you enjoyed this video, drop a comment on what sport you play right now or what you'd love to try. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching.